Have you ever lived beside a giant and never realized that one day the giant would no longer be the center of the story? For decades, people looked at Tangerang and saw only a shadow, a place beside Jakarta, a city people passed through on the way to somewhere else, a place of factories, workers, commuters, highways and endless traffic, a supporting character in the story of Indonesia's capital. But what if that assumption was completely wrong? What if one of the most extraordinary urban transformations in Southeast Asia has been happening right before our eyes? What if Tangerang is not simply growing alongside Jakarta? What if Tangerang is becoming one of the defining cities of modern Indonesia? Today, more than 1 million people move through its streets every day. Millions more pass through its airport every year. Towering business districts continue to rise. New residential cities expand farther across the horizon. Technology companies establish operations. Universities attract students. Shopping centres, cultural hubs, and industrial zones continue to evolve. Yet, despite all of this, many people still underestimate Tangerang. And that is exactly why its story deserves to be told. Because Tangerang is not merely a city, it is a symbol of transformation, a symbol of opportunity, a symbol of how vision, geography, infrastructure, and human ambition can reshape an entire region. To understand Tangerang today, we must first travel back in time. Long before the skyscrapers, long before the toll roads, long before the crowded business districts and modern housing developments. This land was part of a region rich in history, culture, and trade. Located west of Jakarta, Tangerang occupied a strategic position connecting different communities across Java. For centuries, rivers became lifelines of transportation and commerce. People settled along fertile lands. Markets emerged, communities grew, cultures mixed. Influences from across the archipelago and beyond arrived through trade and migration. The city earned the nickname Kota Benteng, or the Fortress City. The name traces back to historical fortifications built during colonial times. Even today, the nickname remains deeply connected to the city's identity. It serves as a reminder that beneath the modern skyline lies a rich and complex past. As Indonesia entered the modern era, Tangerang found itself in a unique position. Its greatest advantage was geography. While many cities struggled to attract investment, Tangerang stood next to the economic heart of the nation. Jakarta's growth created enormous pressure. Population increased, businesses expanded. Industries needed space. Housing became more expensive. Infrastructure faced growing demands. Eventually, growth began spreading beyond the boundaries of the capital, and Tangerang was perfectly positioned to benefit. What was once considered a peripheral area gradually transformed into an essential component of the greater metropolitan region. Roads improved. Industrial zones expanded. New residential developments emerged. Businesses discovered opportunities. Workers arrived seeking better futures. Families built new lives. Investors saw enormous potential. The transformation accelerated, year after year, decade after decade. One of the most remarkable aspects of Tangerang's growth is its population. According to official statistics, the city has grown into one of the most densely populated urban centers in Indonesia. More than 1.9 million people call Tangerang home. And that number reflects more than simple demographics. It represents dreams, aspirations, careers, families, entrepreneurs, students, innovators, and individuals searching for opportunity. Every morning, the city awakens with remarkable energy. Workers head toward offices, students attend schools and universities, businesses open their doors, Factories begin production. Restaurants prepare meals. Markets welcome customers. The city becomes a living organism powered by millions of interconnected stories. Yet population alone does not explain Tangerang's significance. Infrastructure does. And perhaps no infrastructure project symbolizes Tangerang's importance more than Soekarno-Hatta International Airport. Soekarno-Hatta International Airport. This is not merely an airport, it is Indonesia's primary gateway to the world. Every year, tens of millions of passengers pass through its terminals. Tourists arrive eager to explore Indonesia. Business travelers connect global markets. Families reunite. Students pursue education abroad. Cargo shipments move across continents. Economic activity flows in every direction. For many international visitors, their first impression of Indonesia begins here, and that gateway stands within Tangerang. Think about that for a moment. Some cities become important because of natural resources. Others become important because of political power. Tangerang became important because it connects people. Connections create opportunities. Opportunities create growth. Growth creates transformation. That transformation can be seen everywhere. Modern residential developments have reshaped entire districts. New urban centres have emerged. Business parks attract national and international companies. Technology firms establish offices. Manufacturing industries continue to play critical roles. Retail centres serve expanding populations. Educational institutions prepare future generations. Healthcare facilities continue improving quality of life. The result is a city that no longer depends solely on Jakarta. Instead, Tangerang increasingly functions as an economic engine in its own right. This distinction matters because true urban maturity occurs when a city develops its own identity, and Tangerang has done exactly that. Look closely at its economy. Manufacturing remains a major pillar. Factories produce goods distributed throughout Indonesia and exported around the world. Industrial estates support thousands of jobs. Supply chains connect businesses across continents. These industries help strengthen national economic growth. But Tangerang is not defined solely by manufacturing. Services continue expanding. Finance grows. Technology develops. Creative industries emerge. Entrepreneurship flourishes. A new generation of business leaders is helping shape the city's future. This diversification increases resilience. It allows the city to adapt to changing economic conditions, and adaptability is one of the most important characteristics of successful cities. History repeatedly shows that cities capable of evolving survive. Those that refuse to adapt fall behind. Tangerang has embraced change, and the results are visible. Transportation networks continue improving. Major toll roads connect Tangerang with Jakarta and surrounding regions. Public transportation options continue developing. Connectivity reduces travel times. Businesses operate more efficiently. Residents gain greater mobility. Investors gain confidence. Every kilometre of infrastructure creates new possibilities. Infrastructure is often overlooked. People notice skyscrapers. People notice shopping malls. People notice new neighbourhoods. But infrastructure is the foundation beneath everything. Without roads, growth slows. Without transportation, opportunity remains inaccessible. Without connectivity, development becomes isolated. Tangerang understood this reality, and it invested accordingly. Beyond economics and infrastructure, there is another reason why Tangerang matters: its people. Cities are ultimately measured not by buildings, but by human potential. And Tangerang is filled with people striving to improve their lives. Parents working hard to provide for their children, students studying late into the night, entrepreneurs launching businesses, engineers designing solutions, teachers shaping future generations, healthcare workers saving lives, artists expressing creativity. Every successful city depends upon individuals who believe tomorrow can be better than today. Tangerang is filled with those individuals. Walk through its neighborhoods and you will discover extraordinary diversity. People from different regions of Indonesia live side by side. Cultures blend, languages mix, traditions coexist. Food reflects countless influences. Communities create new identities while preserving old ones. This diversity is not a weakness, it is a strength. Some of the world's most successful cities thrive because they attract people from many backgrounds. Different experiences create innovation. Different perspectives generate solutions. Different cultures enrich society. Tangerang embodies that principle, and perhaps that explains why the city continues attracting new residents every year. People move toward opportunity. People move toward hope. People move toward places where they believe their future can improve. Tangerang offers that possibility, yet growth also creates challenges. No rapidly expanding city escapes them. Traffic congestion, environmental pressures, housing demands, public service requirements, urban planning complexities, balancing development with sustainability. These challenges are real, but they are also signs of growth. The question is never whether challenges exist. The question is how cities respond. The future of Tangerang will depend on its ability to manage growth intelligently, to create sustainable development, to protect quality of life, to invest in education, to strengthen public services, to encourage innovation, to build infrastructure that serves future generations. Because the next chapter of Tangerang's story is still being written, and that chapter may be even more remarkable than the last. Imagine Tangerang 20 years from now, a city connected through advanced transportation systems, a hub for technology and innovation, a center for education and entrepreneurship, a model of sustainable urban development, a city where economic growth and quality of life advance together. That future is not guaranteed, but it is possible, and possibility is powerful. Every great city begins with possibility. Few people once imagined Singapore would become a global powerhouse. Few people imagined Dubai would transform from a small trading port into a global city. Few people imagined many of today's urban success stories before they happened. Transformation often appears impossible until it becomes reality. Tangerang's history proves this lesson. What was once considered a peripheral area became a major metropolitan city. What was once overshadowed became increasingly influential. What was once underestimated became essential. That journey carries an important message. Never underestimate places. Never underestimate communities. Never underestimate people. Potential often hides where few are looking. Opportunity often emerges where others see limitations. Greatness often develops quietly before the world notices. Tangerang is living proof. Millions know its airport. Millions know its highways. Millions know its industries. But fewer understand the deeper story, the story of transformation, the story of resilience, the story of ambition, the story of a city that refused to remain in anyone's shadow. Today, when people think about Indonesia's future, they should not look only at Jakarta. They should also look west, toward a city that continues to grow, toward a city that continues to innovate, toward a city that continues to attract dreamers, builders, creators, and visionaries. Because Tangerang is no longer simply a neighbor of the capital. It is no longer just a place people pass through. It is no longer merely part of a metropolitan region. Tangerang has become something far greater, a city of opportunity, a city of momentum, a city of transformation, and perhaps most importantly, a city whose greatest chapters have not yet been written. The next time you hear the name Tangerang, remember this. Behind the highways, behind the factories, behind the airport, behind the skyline, lives a story of extraordinary growth, a story powered by millions of people, a story still unfolding every single day. And if history is any indication, the world has only begun to see what Tangerang is capable of becoming. But there is another side of Tangerang that many people never see, the side that cannot be measured by population statistics, economic reports, or infrastructure projects, the human side. Because cities do not become great simply because buildings rise higher. Cities become great when they create stories worth remembering, and Tangerang is filled with those stories. Every morning before sunrise, thousands of people begin journeys that symbolize the spirit of this city. A young graduate leaves home carrying dreams bigger than their circumstances. A small business owner unlocks a shop door, hoping today will bring new opportunities. A teacher prepares lessons that may inspire the next generation of innovators. A factory worker begins a shift, knowing their effort contributes to products that may travel across Indonesia and beyond. These are not headlines. These are not viral social media moments. Yet these ordinary acts of determination are the foundation of everything Tangerang has become. Behind every successful city lies an invisible workforce. People whose names rarely appear in history books. People who wake up early, work hard, sacrifice often, and keep moving forward despite uncertainty. Tangerang's success was not built by a handful of powerful individuals. It was built by millions of people who believed progress was possible. That collective belief transformed entire landscapes. Areas that were once quiet outskirts gradually evolved into thriving urban centers. New roads connected communities, schools expanded access to education, hospitals improved healthcare services, businesses generated employment opportunities, neighborhoods grew into vibrant districts filled with life and activity. For younger generations, it can be difficult to imagine how dramatically Tangerang has changed. Many see the modern city and assume it has always looked this way. But transformation on this scale did not happen overnight. It required decades of investment, planning, adaptation, and perseverance. Each generation contributed something important. One generation built foundations, another expanded opportunities, the next embraced modernization, and today's generation is helping shape what comes next. That process continues every single day. One of the most fascinating aspects of Tangerang's evolution is how it reflects Indonesia's broader transformation. In many ways, Tangerang serves as a mirror of the nation itself, a place where tradition and modernity coexist, where local identity meets global influence, where economic growth creates both opportunities and challenges, where people from different backgrounds come together in pursuit of a better future. Walk through the city and you can see this contrast everywhere. Traditional markets continue operating alongside modern shopping centers. Family-owned businesses exist beside multinational corporations. Historic neighborhoods stand near contemporary developments. Local culinary traditions thrive alongside international cuisines. The past and the future meet in the same streets, and perhaps that balance is one reason why Tangerang feels unique. It has embraced modernization without completely abandoning its roots. That connection to identity matters, because cities that lose their identity often lose their soul. Tangerang's challenge is not simply to grow, it is to grow while preserving the cultural richness that makes it distinctive. Fortunately, there are many reminders of that heritage. The city's nickname, Kota Benteng, continues to connect residents with history. Local communities maintain traditions passed down through generations. Cultural celebrations bring people together. Religious diversity contributes to social vibrancy. Historic influences remain visible despite rapid urban development. These elements create continuity between the past and the present, and continuity creates belonging. People want to feel connected to something larger than themselves. A city becomes meaningful when residents see themselves as part of its story. Tangerang increasingly offers that sense of connection. Another remarkable aspect of the city is its strategic role within Greater Jakarta. Many people describe Tangerang as a satellite city, but that description no longer captures the full reality. Satellite cities are often dependent. Tangerang is increasingly interdependent. It contributes labor, investment, innovation, infrastructure, and economic activity to one of the largest urban regions in Southeast Asia. The relationship works both ways. Jakarta influences Tangerang. Tangerang influences Jakarta. Together, they form part of a vast metropolitan ecosystem that drives significant portions of Indonesia's economy. This interconnectedness creates enormous advantages. Businesses gain access to large markets. Workers benefit from diverse employment opportunities. Students gain access to educational institutions. Entrepreneurs find customers and investors. Ideas move quickly. Innovation spreads rapidly. Economic activity accelerates. In the 21st century, connectivity often determines success, and Tangerang's connectivity remains one of its greatest strengths. Consider transportation alone. Road networks link the city with surrounding regions. Logistics infrastructure supports commerce. The international airport connects Indonesia to global destinations. Digital connectivity allows businesses and individuals to participate in the modern economy. Every connection increases possibility. Every connection creates opportunity. Every connection expands horizons. This is why urban planners around the world pay close attention to connectivity. Connected cities attract talent. Connected cities attract investment. Connected cities attract innovation. Tangerang possesses all three ingredients, and that matters because the global economy is changing. The cities that thrive in coming decades will not necessarily be the largest. They will be the most adaptable, the most innovative, the most connected, the most capable of attracting skilled people and creative ideas. Tangerang has already demonstrated remarkable adaptability. The question now is how far that adaptability can take the city. Could Tangerang become one of Indonesia's leading technology hubs? Could it become a center for advanced manufacturing? Could it emerge as a model for sustainable urban development? Could it become a destination that attracts international talent and investment? These questions are not fantasies. They are possibilities, and history suggests that cities capable of imagining ambitious futures are often the ones that achieve them. Yet perhaps the most important investment any city can make is not in concrete, steel, or glass. It is in people, because infrastructure creates opportunity, but people create progress. Education, therefore, becomes critical. Every classroom represents potential. Every student represents possibility. Every teacher represents future impact. The innovations that shape tomorrow may already exist in the minds of students studying in Tangerang today. The entrepreneurs who launch future companies may currently be sitting in local schools and universities. The engineers who design future technologies may be walking through city streets at this very moment. Talent exists everywhere. Opportunity determines whether that talent flourishes. Cities that invest in education invest in their future, and the future belongs to those who prepare for it. As Tangerang continues evolving, education, innovation, and human development will likely become even more important. Economic growth alone is not enough. True success requires creating a society where people can thrive, where families feel secure, where young people see opportunities, where businesses can grow, where communities remain strong, where quality of life improves. This broader vision of development is increasingly important around the world. The most admired cities are not merely wealthy, they are livable, they are inclusive, they are sustainable. They create environments where people can pursue meaningful lives. Tangerang's future will depend on balancing growth with these priorities. and that balance may ultimately determine how history remembers the city. Will it simply be remembered as a fast-growing urban centre, or will it be remembered as a place that transformed growth into lasting prosperity? The answer is still being written. Every decision made today influences tomorrow. Every investment shapes future outcomes. Every generation leaves a legacy for the next. That is why Tangerang's story remains so compelling. It is not finished. It is still unfolding. Every day brings new opportunities, new challenges, new achievements, new possibilities. The city continues to evolve, and with each passing year, its significance becomes more difficult to ignore. The world is entering an era defined by cities. More people than ever live in urban areas. Economic activity increasingly concentrates in metropolitan regions. Innovation often emerges from cities that bring diverse people together. In this environment, cities become engines of national development. Tangerang is already playing that role, and its influence may continue growing for decades to come. When future historians look back on Indonesia's urban transformation, they may view Tangerang as one of its most important examples. A city that leveraged geography, a city that embraced opportunity, a city that adapted to change, a city that transformed itself through ambition, resilience, and vision. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson Tangerang offers. Your starting point does not determine your destination. Being overshadowed today does not mean remaining overshadowed tomorrow. Growth is possible. Transformation is possible. Reinvention is possible. Whether for cities, communities, businesses, or individuals. Tangerang proves that progress begins when people choose to believe in possibility, and that belief has already changed the city forever. Now, let us look beyond the skyline, beyond the highways, beyond the factories and business districts, because the true measure of a city is not what it builds, it is what it inspires. And Tangerang is increasingly becoming a place that inspires. Not because it is perfect, not because every challenge has been solved, but because its journey represents something much larger than urban growth. It represents the power of transformation, the power of vision, the power of believing that tomorrow can be greater than today. There is a reason people continue arriving here from different corners of Indonesia. They come carrying hopes, dreams, ambitions, sometimes only a suitcase, sometimes only determination. Yet generation after generation, people continue choosing Tangerang as a place to build a future. That decision alone says something important. People move toward opportunity, and opportunity leaves clues. You can see those clues in expanding neighborhoods. You can see them in new businesses opening their doors. You can see them in educational institutions preparing students for tomorrow's economy. You can see them in infrastructure projects designed not for the present, but for the future. These are signs of confidence, and confidence is one of the most powerful forces in human development. Cities grow when people believe in them. Investors invest when they believe in potential. Entrepreneurs take risks when they believe opportunities exist. Families make sacrifices when they believe their children will have a better future. At its core, Tangerang's rise is a story about confidence. Confidence in possibility, confidence in progress, confidence in the future. Yet every successful city eventually faces an important question. What kind of future does it want to create? Because growth by itself is not a destination. Growth is only a tool. The real objective is creating a city where people can flourish, a city where economic opportunity exists alongside quality of life, a city where innovation and sustainability move forward together, a city where prosperity is shared across communities, a city where future generations inherit something better than what came before. This is where Tangerang's next chapter becomes especially important. The world is changing rapidly. Technology is reshaping industries. Artificial intelligence is transforming work. Climate challenges are influencing urban planning. Digital connectivity is redefining commerce. Global competition is increasing. Cities that adapt will thrive. Cities that fail to adapt risk falling behind. Fortunately, adaptability has already become part of Tangerang's identity. The city has repeatedly demonstrated an ability to evolve, from a peripheral area to a major urban centre, from a supporting role to a leading role, from a commuter city to an increasingly diverse economic hub. That pattern suggests something important. Tangerang's greatest strength may not be its infrastructure. It may not be its location. It may not even be its economic scale. Its greatest strength may be its capacity for change, because in a rapidly changing world, adaptability becomes a superpower. Think about the cities that dominate global conversations today. Many succeeded not because they possessed extraordinary resources. They succeeded because they adapted faster than others. They anticipated trends. They embraced innovation. They invested in people. They prepared for the future. Tangerang has an opportunity to follow a similar path. Imagine a future where Tangerang becomes one of Southeast Asia's leading centers for innovation. Imagine a city where startups flourish, where universities collaborate with industries, where technology accelerates economic growth, where sustainability guides urban development, where smart infrastructure improves daily life, where talented individuals from across Indonesia and beyond come to create, invent, and build. That future may sound ambitious, but every remarkable achievement begins as an ambitious idea. At one point, the modern Tangerang we know today would have seemed equally ambitious. Yet, here it stands. Proof that transformation is possible. Proof that progress can exceed expectations. Proof that vision can become reality. Of course, no city grows without facing obstacles. Success always attracts new challenges. Traffic congestion must be addressed. Environmental sustainability must be prioritized. Affordable housing must remain accessible. Public services must continue improving. Economic inequality must be managed. These issues are not unique to Tangerang. Nearly every rapidly growing city faces them. What separates successful cities from unsuccessful ones is not whether challenges exist, it is how they respond. The most resilient cities view challenges as opportunities for innovation. Problems become catalysts for solutions. Constraints inspire creativity. Difficulties encourage progress. Tangerang's future leadership will play a critical role in determining how effectively these challenges are addressed. But leadership alone is not enough. Citizens matter too. Communities matter. Businesses matter. Educational institutions matter. Every stakeholder contributes to the city's future. Urban success is ultimately a collective achievement. No single person builds a city, millions do. And that reality brings us back to the people of Tangerang. Because throughout this story, one theme appears again and again: human potential. The city's infrastructure matters because it serves people. The economy matters because it creates opportunities for people. Education matters because it empowers people. Technology matters because it improves people's lives. Everything ultimately returns to one question: how can a city help its people thrive? The answer may define Tangerang's next era. As we move deeper into the 21st century, cities will increasingly compete for talent. The most valuable resource will not be oil, it will not be minerals, it will not be land. It will be human creativity, ideas, innovation, knowledge. the ability to solve problems, the ability to create value, the ability to imagine what does not yet exist. Cities that attract and nurture talent will lead. Cities that fail to do so will struggle. Tangerang has every opportunity to become a magnet for talent. Its strategic location provides advantages. Its economic diversity creates opportunities. Its connectivity expands possibilities. Its growing educational ecosystem strengthens potential. Its youthful population brings energy and ambition. These ingredients matter because when talented people gather together, extraordinary things happen. New companies emerge, new technologies develop, new industries form, new solutions appear, entire economies transform. History demonstrates this repeatedly. Innovation clusters create momentum. Momentum attracts more talent. More talent generates more innovation. A cycle of growth begins. Tangerang possesses many characteristics that could support such a cycle. The challenge is turning potential into reality. And that challenge is also an opportunity. Perhaps the most exciting thing about Tangerang is that its future remains unwritten. Many famous cities reached maturity long ago. Their identities are already established. Their stories are largely known. Tangerang is different. Its story is still being created. Every new business adds a chapter. Every infrastructure project adds a chapter. Every innovation adds a chapter. Every family that chooses to build a life here adds a chapter. The city remains a work in progress, and there is something inspiring about that. Because unfinished stories contain possibility, they contain uncertainty, they contain potential, and potential is where greatness begins. One day, future generations may look back on this period as a defining moment, a moment when Tangerang transitioned from growth to leadership, a moment when it became not only one of Indonesia's most important cities, but one of the region's most influential urban centers, a moment when vision, opportunity, and determination converged. Whether that future arrives depends on choices made today, choices about education, choices about innovation, choices about sustainability, choices about inclusion, choices about long-term thinking. The future is never automatic. It must be built, and cities, like people, become what they repeatedly choose to pursue. Tangerang has already demonstrated extraordinary ambition. The question now is how far that ambition can go. Can it become a model for sustainable urban growth? Can it become a center of innovation? Can it become a city that others study and learn from? Can it become a place where economic success and human well-being advance together? The answers remain ahead. But if history has taught us anything, it is this: never underestimate a city that has already exceeded expectations. Never underestimate a community driven by aspiration. Never underestimate people who believe progress is possible, because history is filled with examples of places that transformed themselves beyond imagination. And Tangerang is writing its own version of that story, a story still unfolding, a story still growing, a story still reaching toward possibilities that have yet to be realized. And perhaps that is what makes Tangerang so fascinating, not merely what it has become, but what it is still capable of becoming. Because the greatest cities are not defined by their past, they are defined by their future, and Tangerang's future may be brighter than anyone ever imagined. And yet, to truly understand Tangerang, we must ask a deeper question. What does this city represent in the larger story of Indonesia? Because Tangerang is more than a collection of roads, buildings, businesses, and neighborhoods. It is a reflection of a nation in motion, a nation transforming itself, a nation growing more connected, more urbanized, more ambitious, and more influential on the global stage. In many ways, Tangerang is a glimpse into Indonesia's future, a future shaped by innovation, a future powered by human capital, a future driven by cities that serve as engines of economic growth and social progress. Throughout history, great civilizations have often been defined by their cities. Ancient civilizations built cities that became centers of trade, knowledge, culture, and governance. Modern nations continue to rely on urban centers as hubs of innovation and development. Cities are where ideas meet opportunity, where diversity sparks creativity, where ambition finds momentum. Tangerang has increasingly become one of those places, not because it inherited greatness, but because it worked for it. That distinction matters. Some places are born with advantages. Others create advantages through determination, vision, and adaptability. Tangerang belongs to the second category. Its rise was not inevitable. Its growth was not guaranteed. Its success required effort. It required investment. It required planning. Most importantly, it required people willing to believe in a better future. That belief can be seen everywhere. It exists in the entrepreneur launching a startup. It exists in the student pursuing higher education. It exists in the engineer designing infrastructure. It exists in the parent working overtime to provide opportunities for their children. It exists in the community leaders striving to improve neighborhoods. Collectively, these efforts shape the city, and collectively, they shape the future. One of the most remarkable characteristics of successful cities is their ability to reinvent themselves.